On Time with Doctor and Serge, Logtech podcast.
Hey, Sergey, how you doing, mate?
Hi, Doc. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. It seems like our podcast is doing well. I'm getting some really good feedback. Thank you to all the subscribers. I mean, I appreciate the comments you're giving, all the engagement. So thank you for that, because I know the most important commodity in life is time. So anybody who's giving us their time,
Really appreciate it.
we really appreciate it very much. And hopefully we, with your motivation and comments, we will continue to produce some good conversations here. Talking about good conversations. So Sergey, today we are going to talk about where are or what are the risks in supply chain digitalization. I myself, if you go to my LinkedIn, I mean, I know a lot of stuff in supply chain, or but I write down myself as a supply chain consultant and especially supply chain digitalization expert, right? Because that's really the topic close to my heart, and I think that's the future as well, right? And this is where the efficiency and the whole integration, agility and responsiveness will come in. But all of this good stuff come with the risk.
Tell us, what's the risks?
Right.
No, I'm an IT guy.
Yeah.
I always say, right on, more technology.
Exactly.
No risk. Don't turn your back on
No,
that. Yeah,
but there are risks, right?
Okay.
The benefits
What are
are there, but the risk, there are three main risks, and we should cover each of them in detail later on, right? So the one is pretty much the cybersecurity. The more software you create, the more digital stuff you create. That means there's more data sharing, more company information sharing, pricing sharing, product catalog, blah, blah. So all of that is basically there to be taken by the ransom people, the hackers and so on and so forth. That's number one. The second is integration. And I'll tell you a true story later on when we're going to dig deep on this. That what you're doing is, when you're trying to digitalize, you are bolting on new solution with the old solution. Somebody shared a meme on LinkedIn that you have a burger and you mustard sauce and more layer of mustard sauce. Basically, you're creating a mess. So it's not a good idea to do so. So integration is a big problem. And I'm sure with your business, you do that for a living, and I'm sure you have a lot of good insights on that. And the third one is data quality. Let's start with the cybersecurity one. I mean, you're an IT guy, you have a master's education. So let's start with you. What do you think? How, first of all, emphasize the problem. How really big is the problem? And then what are the solutions?
Frankly, the problem is big. It is big. So I think probably the worst one is this ransomware. Yeah. So you over-rely on your data. All the data is there, your customers, everything. And then someone encrypted the whole database. You cannot access your data unless you pay 1 Bitcoin or whatever, right? So that's, I think, probably the worst one, because it's unreasonable for a business to withstand like the whole internet, right? Like, and the best of the best, especially if you target it. So that's the biggest one. And then the other one is maybe bringing the more concern to business people is this leakage, data leakage.
Right.
Yes, maybe not as detrimental to the business, but you have credibility problem. Yeah, if you leak some data.
I'll give you an example. I was in UK 3 days ago, and there was a big news that Ticketmaster, one of the biggest websites, we got 150 million users or something. Their credit card details and email was hijacked by a very popular hijack group, right? And they're claiming themselves. It's a problem, big problem.
It is a problem. Yeah. So, and the more transparency you have, the more competition or other actors can access the data, probably. So everybody see your purchases, sales, everything, and your stock and whatever. Actually, I've tried to read. I went to the mall with a RFID reader and tried to stock take. So you can stock take like in probably 10 minutes the whole store that is not yours. Of course, I was stopped by the security, like, what are you doing? You have to okay. Yes, so I stopped
you
it.
Look dodgy,
but anyway, see, you can do those things because it's like radio so it's all open,
wow,
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if it's a metal container, you do. But if it's a vehicle, you can do inventory from outside. And see what's there. With RFID, yes, you can do that. So there are lots of...
I didn't know that. We should make a movie on this.
More visibility to everybody.
Yeah. More visibility to everybody. We should finish that. More visibility to everybody. Okay, right. No, so, okay. There's a great, interesting debate, and I did a poll as well happening, right? Which is cloud versus on-premise. So on-premise was dead, almost cloud. All the demand planning solution, all the visibility solution, which we covered in our episode, I think 1 or 2 we covered that. But I have been asked by one of my clients the project was to basically find them a best in breed demand planning solution, which do inventory optimization. Okay, nice project. My job is to do the study and basically recommend. And I don't want to name any providers because most of them are my friends and they know me. But when I asked the question of, okay, cloud, great. Okay, what is security? We are ISO, I don't know, 27,000, whatever certified. Okay, fine, that's great. But where are you hosting? It's in cloud. I said, yeah, of course it's in cloud. But which cloud? It's a private server providing. I said, like, how secure it is? We just told you it's ISO 27,000. But yeah, but I need to know the security of the cloud. They couldn't tell me. But 1 or 2 providers, which is on the higher end, they said, oh, we are on AWS or Azure or Google. I don't want to name any, so because I'm not promoting any, but the security systems of Amazon. For example, SCMDOJO, Amazon cost us a lot of money, really. But we host on Amazon, AWS, only for that reason, because I can't take a risk of my 8,000 users, subscribe to SCMDOJO, and they're learning and they have emails and names, can't be hacked, because that's going to be, I think, super bad. So I'm just a startup. We are just a small company with a small revenue. We are choosing AWS just to make sure that we can't be hijacked, because clouds, you can take our app, you can literally host into any cloud platform, who can do WordPress and stuff. So the point is, before we go and talk about digitalization and finding the right partners and suppliers, how important is this criteria of the assessment of risk? Keeping the whole cybersecurity
but again, I think that
give me some tips, right?
If you're a small business, it's unreasonable to think that you can hide yourself, that you can mitigate those risks. At some level, it is reasonable, but for most of the people, it is not. So small business cannot realistically think that they can install some software that will make them secure.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe it. Don't buy that. If you're a bigger organization, then probably Google will drive you to they will show you that it looked like a military one with high walls and armed guards and all that. And they will tell you that, yeah, of course, nobody will snatch your data. Not just a hacker, but like people physically they will be able to snatch that. Yeah, so that's a real risk. Of course, it is there, and you're paying for mitigating those risks when you pay.
Yeah,
Amazon, of course.
No, side subtopic of I'm going to go off track here, but with this whole AI trend happening, and there's a debate that the AI, because the companies are scared that AI can learn from the data and then can be given to the whoever and hijacked and hallucination and all this. So now the company is saying, okay, we're going to use this whole LLM models in ChatGPT or Google locally, and we're going to do it on premise, right? Because they're scared that AI would learn and it's going to go all the way, and it will. But interestingly, both OpenAI and Google are supporting that. They're supporting that part actually. Do you think it's the right thing to do?
Yeah. So. First of all, they just want to sell more, and so So they are now moved that thing like, oh, your national data, your culture, your music have to be local. Build your own AI factory in your own country and buy a whole bunch of cards and everything. Yeah, so it's just fueling this market for AI, spending more. The more you spend on AI, of course, the further it will propel the whole thing. Yeah,
right.
So that's a good thing. Then, of course, some companies' data is valuable, of course. Like if you are the biggest lawyer company and you have a whole data, a whole load of data, it is good. The other thing is that OpenAI will never spend enough efforts on making their model to work well on your data. So they produce foundational models, so-called, that understands on high levels, like the basics of everything there. Right. And then they do this training, fine-tuning, or LoRa on those models to make it accessible for small businesses, mainly. But if you have a specific task, it is actually viable to have your own version
Own
of
version,
that.
because,
So
yeah.
you would just buy or download this foundational model, and then you do LoRa fine tuning on your own data to like achieve good results.
Right, right. And I think there is a opportunity, jobs opportunity coming now, because the people who understand AI, tech or no tech, and they know how to train the AI models based on the company's product data, customer data, behavior, I think they will make a lot of money, right? I mean, if I'm a young person and, 22 years old guy who's just done an engineering degree, I would actually really focus on this, how to, anyway, off topic. So let's move to the topic back. The second one, we want to move to the second one, which is integration, right? And as a supply chain digitalization consultant, that is one of my biggest, pain in the backside issue. Because, for example, there was a distributor, right? They want to go to a B2B online software for their customers. They have 600 customers who is like wholesaler, retailers, dealers. And what I want to do is, okay, let's customer order online. We give the order confirmation online. We're gonna send them invoice and packing list online, shipment confirmation online, orders, everything. So that will reduce the workload for the sales guys. We don't receive orders by WhatsApp, emails, great. And also we will have less customer service people, and we're just gonna do that. Okay, everything's great. But where the data will come from? Oh, we're gonna integrate with our ERP system. Okay, but where's the budget for that part? Or there's no budget for that. Like, but you just, without that part, which you put a budget for the build the tool, which we can build it into any B2B commerce platforms like, I don't know, Magento, WooCommerce, whatever. But if you don't integrate with your ERP system, it's rubbish. Believe me or not, I'm working on this project for 18 months, right? Completed it successfully live. The actual front end part of building a B2B commerce, right? Let's go data supply chain, took only 4 months. The integration part took 14 months.
I do believe you.
That part, just to make it work, because it's for a simple application.
That is state of affairs in modern world.
Exactly.
Right.
So just to integrate order modules with the ERP system was 3 months. Then you have to integrate pricing, then integrate inventory, then invoicing, everything which is visible, which is a basic operations to a distributor dealer platform. It took twice as longer to integrate than actually do the whole platform to digitalize. I mean, what's your experience? You do that for a living, right?
Yeah. You're right. So that's actually a crucial part of Cleverance solution. So that hurts me, the integration part, because integration with ERP costs much more than the whole project.
Right.
This is why. So Cleverance gives this integration for free, but I mean that, of course.
Well, you shouldn't give it for free.
No. I mean, first of all, we don't. We keep the IP to ourselves this way, right?
Right.
So this integration, yeah. Second thing, of course, with hundreds, thousands of customers, it like spreads throughout all that, so it pays out to do the integration. But the last thing is that no customer can implement small solution, fill the gaps, if they will have to pay for the integration. Because integration is huge thing. Yeah, it can really last for months and months and can cost tens of thousands. So it's a part of business model for Cleverance is doing integration with most of the systems ourselves and ship it as a part of solution much cheaper, like at pay fraction of a price for an integration. So, but of course, I had to do integration. I have to pay for an integration, and that's a big problem. There are several issues with that. First of all, systems tend to renew newer versions, updates. All those things breaks integration. So you think you'll like do this once, yeah? You've took the hit, paid for an integration, wait for 4 months.
And then
sudden update, nothing works now. Yeah. And so it was an automation of office work.
Yeah.
Till it worked. But then all of a sudden it does not. And the whole work is stopped. And if you don't have plan B for that, if people don't want to return to pen and paper, you've screwed. That's a big problem. And so when you considering doing your own integration, you also should consider that you will have to pay every month, like forever. You've stuck with that, or you have to find on the market, the solution that provides that integration with the support, with the update. So whenever integration is broken, it gets fixed, maybe probably even before you know it. Because somebody knows that there will be an update. Yeah, someone could have fixed that. Yeah, prevent it.
I want to go technically slightly deep on this integration as a solution, in fact, and basically give people more knowledge, especially my supply chain folks, which is the audience of this channel, right? Okay, so what I learned is a thing called API, Application Programming Interface. There is a soft integration as well. Let me give you soft integration. Basically, you take the data out of your ERP system, you can download a flat file or a CSV file, and basically you just write a program, we call it cron job, which basically picks up the data of the file and basically feed back into the warehouse. That's not really integration, but it does the job, right? And it works in most cases, doesn't require a lot of programming. It works, but it's very, very soft integration. So the hard-end integration is this APIs, Application Programming Interface. Now, when I'm doing these projects, and then I see a very interesting fight, because for example, there's one system who is developing PHP, front-end system. PHP is very good for web application, commerce applications. There's a tools called Laravel and things like this. You can really build some really good tools.
Nice, beautiful web pages with access to data.
With access to data. And then you say, okay, then I want to move my data in and out of ERP, right? Okay, let's call it SAP. The most pain in the bad side software. Okay, so the discussion was interesting. Who's going to do API? The one who is receiving or the one who is giving? And I find it actually very funny. In a very, you understand, in a very bad way. Like who's giving and who's receiving, right? But it's a very interesting debate between the programmers. And the one, actually, interestingly, the both programmers or the IT guys are more interested in receiving than giving.
Yes, than giving.
So I explain why.
It's funny that you discussed that thing. Basically, everyone wants to have a beautiful API documented that they will use, and they will be on the receiving side, on the client side, so-called. And API is exhibited by server side. So everyone wants somebody else to be that server side, be servant, and I will be the customer, the client. I will get all the benefits from that API. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's true.
So the giving one has to do more programming,
and of course, and doing two APIs and it doubles amount of work.
Right.
Yeah. So but at Cleverance, what we've done.
Are you
we've
giving
developed? No. We had our own API. But then we've developed an API, and now we're telling customers, not customers, ERPs, providers, implement that API. So API is already there.
What does that mean? Implement it.
Like code, what it will do. So all the examples are there.
Right.
So again, we will be on the client side, and ERP will be on the server side. But at least we've laid out all the API, all the
making them
easier to implement. Of course, this is not because we want them to do that. It's just because a mobile device will be the client. So you want to receive data immediately from mobile device. A mobile device is the initiator of data exchange, and it have to have means to call ERP and tell, give me that data, right? So ERP have to be server. But it doesn't help much. Developers are tough guys to deal with.
Okay. So integration is a problem, and then the more you integrate, now that nicely leads to our third topic, right? Which is the data quality. Again, sharing from my example from the projects I do, because that's one of my consulting expertise, and I make a lot of money in doing that, is so now the two systems are ready. Let's assume price matching. The price of your ERP system need to be reflected into other application, which is visible to your customers. And there's an interesting debate of should we show inventory, should we not? And interestingly, a lot of people don't want to show inventory. There's a commercial reasons. I don't want to debate it. Very simple. Let's take a logistic. You're a logistics person, right?
Yeah.
Shipping addresses. Customer...
No. Price is okay. $250 of what? Is it purchase, sale, pounds?
So, what is it? Exactly. So that's an easy problem. But talking about data quality, it's nightmare to understand if you got 600 customers, and then when you want to do data mapping, an ERP system has been managed so badly that so many important fields are missing, right?
Right.
Because you have a same customer with 5 different addresses, and you say, which one is it? Which one you want to show?
Or they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same. Well, why you have 5? So it took, again, 4 weeks just to clean up the shipping data, right? So it appears nicely on the invoices and the packing list. because if you're doing a B2B commerce, you have to give an option to a customer, say, deliver to address or store pickup, for example. But to say the deliver to address, you can't show 5 addresses because you don't know which one is correct. So people have to call customer and ask them, oh, we got your 5 different addresses, which one is correct? And that's a example of, I can give you more examples.
And if you move once a year, then you have like 10 addresses. Yes, and
exactly.
it's easy.
And so the point I'm making is this, that before we go and work on digitalization, this data quality and data cleanup, I think it should be a pre-step before phase 1. Honestly, people don't even think about it. Demand planning is even worse. You talk to any demand planning providers, they say 3 months of onboarding. I was like, why you need 3 months of onboarding? Really? You're going to charge £7,000 for like onboarding and your software costing $2,000 a month. Ridiculous. Explain me why. Sorry, 15,000. Oh, because we have to help our customers to clean the data, make sure the input history is right, the sales is right, the product is right, description is right. But the software providers are charging for it because it's a problem which they know the customer cannot solve. So they said, okay, to make a software, and when they come and pitch, actually, this is very interesting. When they come and pitch the software, anywhere in the pitch, that part is not mentioned. Right? So they're competing in RFQs, right? They're competing, right? And once they say, okay, you are the winner, and they're going to say, okay, that's fine, but here you go, extra invoice for the data cleanup.
Okay, no, you cannot blame them.
Okay.
If you see an ad for...
I would blame them.
If you see an ad for...
I think that's cheeky.
I don't know. You see an ad for, I don't know, kite surfing.
Yeah.
Nobody shows you that you have to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 months training for that until you will be this nice looking as in the ad, right?
Fair point.
Yeah. And same for all the new things.
Okay. So solution is, the real message here is, before you go ahead and embark a journey of digitalization, just do a pre-assessment how good or bad your data is. My suggestion is actually this on this. LLMs models, the ChatGPTs and Geminis and all that, they are not good in maths, but they are very good at in understanding any kind of text. Very good at. So I recently did the exercise where I said, okay, this is the master data of our business. Please identify me where are the missing fields. Of course, there was the issue of the token limit, whatever. So we did a small experiment. And to my surprise, it come back with some really, really, really good insights. He said that for this product, you have like X amount of duplication description. For this product, you got price missing. For this product, you got group missing. And, it literally understand everything. And it's really identified the area which you need to focus. So this exercise used to be outsourced before the data cleaning. Actually, you can at least estimate that part very quickly. So that's a solution. And let me give you one example of a recent interaction we have with a potential client, not really client yet, for SCMDOJO. What they've done is they're a big company, right? They are, I think, a $3 billion company, European company. They have plants all across Europe, 20 different factories they have. They make 50, they have 98,000 SKUs. And they've grown by acquisition. And that's the legacy problem, because when you grow by acquisition, right, that some factories are on different ERP systems, some are on different ERP system, and it's nightmare. So when you see the cost of bringing them into one ERP system, you think, no way, we are not spending $2.5 million because we didn't even know where to start and is there any ROI. So they said, look, don't do that. That's people think, okay, let's go a step-by-step route. What does that mean? We're going to have one planning system, demand planning system. We're going to have one shipping system bolt on to ERP. We have one invoicing system or accounting system bolt on to ERP, and basically marketing suite bolt on. So what they did was all their factories, or they start buying a solution which is bolting onto their current crappy ERP systems, not even system. And they think by having all these factories and the plants into one front end, let's call it demand planning system, it will improve their demand planning. And my answer was straight up, no way. It will actually make it worse, right? Because now your demand planner has to understand not one just ERP, how the data is coming from. He has to understand like 2 different ERP or 3 different ERP.
They just assume that the data will be clean, correct, all be aligned. Yeah, and so in ERP, they will have all the data in ERP, but no information.
Right.
Mostly noise.
Right. So if you're a CTO of this business, what would be your advice? Spend $2 million and bring it into one ERP, then do everything, or continue with this approach? What would be your solution?
Wow, what a question.
I know, it's a good question.
I personally do not believe in a single ERP, single something that will solve all of the problems.
Yeah.
Okay. Needless to say that there's no difference between having one ERP plus 50 systems or a single ERP that will replace all those 50 systems. Because the question is, you have to have all the people trained. You have to, there's a lot of things to consider. When you introduce new data, who will be the owner of that data? How it will be punched in? When? All of that is crucial. So ERP maybe seems rigid, but even with the rigid systems, you can punch in a whole of rubbish data that have nothing to do with the real business processes in your company. So I think that just because software looks nice and new ERP shiny and paying millions, maybe that's a huge sum, but seems easy. You just pay. And now you have beautiful ERP. And people assume again that it will ramp up the quality of all the processes and all the people in an organization. And that's not the case. The system will be beautiful, but the processes will be at the level of your organization. Right. You cannot jump over necessary steps. Without people training, without maturing the organization and all the processes, just introducing new shiny software, you will not be able to. Right. So it will it's like buying a suit L size for a 5-year-old kid. Yeah, it will look funny.
Yes, that's a very good analogy. To conclude, right? So cybersecurity, biggest threat, but there is now, I think, good providers available who you should be considered to have them. Then we talk about integration. That integration needs to be understood and cost estimated as a part of the project, because IT guys are not very good in forecasting how long it takes to integrate. If you ask any IT guy, doesn't matter programmer or not programmer, say it will take some time. They will never gonna mention how much, right? You can squeeze the hell out of them, they were never gonna mention. But I can tell you this, that integration, in my experience, usually take 2.5 to 3x more time than just the software itself, the one you are buying.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And so that needs to be considered into the whole project planning and the costing of that. And the third one is, we talked about data quality, which is a big issue. But before you go and try to scope and implement anything, any new solution, any data solution, please, actually, before decision needs to be made, you have to understand how good or bad your data is. And then, in fact, there are now softwares available. Now, we should conclude this, and I have a last question. Very serious question, right? Given we talk about cybersecurity, cyber terrorism and all that, and you're IT guy, so my question is this: what is hackers' favorite kind of password? I'm asking you a question. You don't know?
1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Oh, you now know all my passwords.
Exactly. Password 1, 2, 3 is favorite, and surprisingly, even today I was with somebody, and they have a business. Let's call it, I don't know, 𝐥𝐤 or whatever. They literally have a password, 𝐿 1, 2, 3. I'm not kidding. Like, people still do that. Yeah. Ridiculous. Anyway, with that thought, great episode. I think I loved it. Guys, hopefully you find it useful. Thank you very much for sharing your stories and experience.
Thank you to Doc. See you next time.
See you next time, right? Cheers.
On Time with Dr. and Serge. Logtech Podcast.